Marvel's Avengers Thor issue 1 sees the God of Thunder aid fellow Avengers Bruce Banner and Tony Stark with the teleportation gate project, using his lightning to power the device. Tony says that this will help the Avengers assemble wherever they need to at any time in any place, as the lightning keeps the device stable. However, suddenly there's an energy spike and Thor is unable to stop the storm as it rips the gateway apart. Thor checks on his friends, finding Banner is pretty upset the device didn't work, but Tony knows it was just a miscalculation. Banner says that Tony was probably too busy with his supermodels or tech bros to check the numbers, but Tony says he did the simulations just like Banner did. He hopes the blast didn't hurt Banner in any way, but he says he is fine. Thor says that if they really want teleportation, all they have to do is ask him, as he calls in a portal to Asgard from Heimdall. Tony says that's all well and good, but if Thor is doing something for Odin or in space, they need a more convenient transportation solution, and not just have to keep relying on him. Bruce and Tony begin to argue again about the experiment failing as Thor tells Heimdall to close the portal, yet somehow he can't. Thor knows this is a problem, as an unguarded gate to Asgard is not something Odin would be happy with. Tony doesn't want anything to do with magic, so he leaves, leaving it in the hands of Bruce and Thor to clean up. As the two heroes watch Iron Man leave, the invisible Loki watches them, knowing his magic made their devices malfunction and allowed it to hide himself as he causes more strife for his half-brother. Loki begins manipulating Bruce and Thor, getting them to argue until Bruce's head begins ringing, making him angered as he is overcome by Loki's manipulation, causing him to turn into the Hulk. The heroes clash, causing a wave of destruction as Thor regains composure, saying if Hulk chooses to face the power within his Uru, then he will lose. He wants him to apologize for the threats Banner uttered against Asgard and himself, but Hulk smashes Thor, telling him to shut up. Hulk keeps up the attack, saying that he is the strongest before throwing Thor into the city. Thor smashes into the streets of New York as Loki gleefully watches his toys fight it out amongst the innocent lives. Hulk arrives, smashing Thor into the ground again and again, but Thor has had enough of the beating, calling in his lightning and proclaiming Hulk has insulted him and endangered innocent mortals, so he needs to stop now. As the storm begins, the heroes battle it out and Loki watches on. During the fight, Thor sees the outline of the invisible Loki in the rain. Thor knew his brother had to be behind this, summoning all of the rain and blasting Loki with it to reveal him, telling his brother his cowardly shields are no match for Mjolnir. Loki is smashed in the face with the hammer, knocking him out and causing the portal to Asgard to close. Thor calms the storm as the now calmed Hulk says that he hates Loki, and Thor agrees. That night, Thor tells Tony about the battle, who says that will cost them millions in damage and he will need to hire more PR people to try and navigate the bad press. Thor knows that there is always damage in war, but Banner says this wasn't a war. Thor says that Loki's magic was to blame, but Bruce knows that the general public won't know that and they won't agree. Thor wants to go drinking with them, but Bruce says that he's not listening, since the Hulk lost control again and people could have died. Thor says that they didn't, and he discovered Loki's trickery and Odin will dole out his punishment for it. He tells his friends that victories require celebrations, and that's how they bond as warriors. Bruce and Tony relent, going to a bar with Thor, who wishes to tell them the tale about how he fought the Midgard serpent. Marvel's Avengers Thor issue 1 was a really simple action-packed issue that pitted Thor against Hulk in a classic battle manipulated by Loki. While I enjoyed Thor as a character here, I liked more of the Bruce and Tony relationship, which we first saw in the Iron Man one-shot, with a continuation of that shown here, with them arguing over their science and being at odds with one another. It's fun and interesting, and I'm hoping that's what comes through in the video game. So far, these one-shots have been pretty good, and I'm looking forward to the Hulk one next. I'm going to give this issue an 8 out of 10.